let's talk about the physical symptoms of panic. You know, when your heart starts to race and your palms start to go sweaty, you start to go dizzy and you just can't see anything. Like, you fully feel like you're losing control of your body. And the first thing that you think of is like, I need to get out of here. Like, where is my closest safe place? That could have been like your car, the emergency exit, where it's going to be quiet, where you can take a breather, or even it might be your home. Like, where is the nearest safe place? Because these physical sensations are happening. And then, of course, when we have panic and anxiety, we also get a lot of physical illness. Things like headaches, stomach aches, IBS that causes or is the cause of anxiety and panic, and the stress, the fight or flight that your body is in, like it's the cause, right? So in today's video, I'm actually going to be talking through, if you don't know, I had anxiety and panic for 15 years. And I'm going to be talking through loads of things and techniques that I did to help and manage my physical symptoms and how to kind of get through those. And then what I'm going to go through is the biggest, most important thing that I did to get to where I am now, where anxiety and panic no longer scares me. Like, it comes up and I'm just like, cool, whatever. I don't feel the physical panic anymore or the fear. And I definitely don't experience anxiety. The only time I experience anxiety is when a normal human is meant to experience anxiety. So moments where I'm like a little bit nervous about something, or even if it comes up, I can move through it super quickly. Panic no longer worries me. I'm no longer fearing the fear, because if you're watching this video, you know what I'm on about when I say you're fearing the fear. You're fearing the panic attack, the physical symptoms, right? So I'm going to run through all of the things that I did to help me manage my physical symptoms. And then I'm going to go through at the end, the most important thing you can do right now, and the most important thing that transformed my journey to actually get into the place I'm at now. So let's get started. I've actually got a list here. So if I keep looking there, that's why, because I've got a list of all the physical stuff that I actually experienced. So let's go through them. And if you relate, like, just like this video or comment below what you can relate with, because I think it's so important that we all share what we've experienced as well. And if there's something that I haven't gone over that you experienced, write it down below in the comments. So here's my list of like the panic attack, right? Let's start with the panic attack. When it first would come on, it's the heart rate for me. The heart rate would start and I'd go, right, I instantly know. Then I'd get this like heat running through my face. It would be like, I'm getting really hot. I'm like doing the old fanning. I'm like fidgeting. I'm trying to keep myself distracted and occupied from this physical feeling that I'm going to have. And I can start to feel it in my stomach. My stomach gets really tight and I get very overwhelmed. And then I start to have the loss of vision, the unsteadiness, like dizziness. And like my first thought, and I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but my first thought goes to, oh my God, I'm going to faint, or oh my God, I can't breathe. And people are going to look at me funny. Like, that's the first thing. I need to get out of there just in case people might look at me funny, right? So funny. So strange as well, because you don't even realize this when it's actually happening. The other thing that I'd have is that I couldn't think logically. I could tell myself I'm going to be okay, and I couldn't think logically. Unsteadiness, couldn't take a deep breath. Couldn't take a deep breath was something that I had for a long time, because obviously when you're fight or flight, tight chest. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't take a deep breath. That means I am going into panic mode, which obviously means fear, which means overwhelm, which means get out of there, okay? So I am also going to run through the things that the physical panic also gave me. So I would also get like really bad periods. So because of the fight or flight and the stress response that I'd be in 24/7 most of the time, because anxiety was there, panic was there most of the time, my hormones were wrecked. I literally had horrendous periods, irregular periods. They thought I had PCOS, they thought I had endo, when actually, what it came down to was the stress response that my body was always in. So if you find that you have really bad hormones, stress, it all correlates, it literally does. I would have UTIs. So when you are in fight or flight, there's a lot of inflammatory response in the body. So like, again, fight or flight is stress. So your body's trying to cope with the stress. So then you get a lot of inflammation, and that might look like, for me, it was UTIs. It might look like cold sores. It might look like IBS. I had IBS as well. I also had migraines because of the stress, literally stress, fight or flight equals all of these things. IBS symptoms. And I would also have a sore back and really tight shoulders. Like, you know that, like, I'm like this all the time. I'm stressed, I'm tense. It was horrendous, honestly. My whole life was stress, okay? So let's talk a little bit of the things that I actually did that helped me to manage these symptoms, because that's what I really want to correlate in today's video. The things I'm about to go through helped me to manage. But there came a point in my life where I didn't just want to manage anymore. I felt like I was always having to be in control, always having to watch what I ate, watch what I do, and I'll come to that in a second. And I got to a point where I was like, no, I don't want this life anymore. I want to actually get to a point where I don't have to manage and cope, that I could actually remove. And we will get to that in the end. So let's talk about the things that I did. First thing being nutrition. The biggest thing that does help you to manage your stress, lose my voice. So some of these things that I'm talking about are going to be helping you to manage the nervous system response and the stress response, okay? So things like nutrition. Sugar, I gave up sugar. I also gave up mostly processed foods and only ate whole foods, which helped me to manage my stress response. I also did exercise a lot. I exercised a lot because when I first went to the GP, when I first experienced panic and anxiety, he said to me, get outside and get running. Exercise, best thing you can ever do for your mental health. So I tried it, it helped. It helped me to manage. Really key word there, it helped me to manage, okay? I would do yoga, sound baths, meditation, everything to relax the body, okay? Which essentially helped me to relax, helped me to de-stress. But of course, the panic and anxiety still laid dormant in the root of my mind, which I'm going to go through in a second. So yeah, we tried the nervous system stuff. We did like the yoga, the meditation, the sound baths. I did the nutrition, I did exercise. I had medication, which I've talked about in a previous video. I had propranolol for a bit so that when I was in the heightened panic attack mode, I could take that and sort of deal with the physical symptoms. I had diazepam, which obviously helped me to relax. I'm just trying to think. I did sleep, so I made sure that sleep was top quality so that I could always be de-stressed and be sleeping a lot. Obviously, with the UTIs that I would get, I would do a lot of cranberry juice, nutrition protocols and things like that. And then obviously with the hormones, I would also do nutrition and food to help my hormones. So in the scheme of things, I have done quite a lot to help me with my physical symptoms. One thing that I actually haven't talked about is breathing techniques. So one of the favorite things that I used to do when it would come to panic and that like lack of breath, I couldn't take a deep breath, I would sort of do a 4 breath in, hold for 4, out for 4. So I'd kind of be driving to work. And driving used to be a big trigger for me. So like getting to work, it was like a 10-minute journey. It wasn't even far, but it would be panic, panic, panic the whole way. So you can see why my nervous system was just in like hell, because I was constantly panicking, constantly anxious about every single daily thing. So I'd be driving to work, and actually this really helped to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. And it helped me to regulate. I was still in stress, high response, but I was actually just kind of calming myself down. So there was lots of things I did, breathing techniques, nutrition, sugar and processed food can heighten the nervous system. But the key thing I want to get across to you in today's video is you can do all of these list of things. You can do all of the nervous system resets, the breathing techniques, the nutrition, the exercise. But if you don't actually deal with the root cause of your anxiety in the mind, this is just going to keep happening. This is honestly just going to keep happening. You are always going to be having to cope and manage and control your external system and the things that you do unless you deal with the actual root of the problem, okay? So 15 years, I managed, I coped with all of these things and they helped for a small period of time. But the problem was if I went out for a night out, if I ate fast food, or if I didn't exercise for a period of time, or if I forgot about my breathing techniques, or if I didn't go to yoga, it all came crawling back in. And eventually it would go for a bit, come back. The anxiety and panic would like dive down a little bit, like it would sort of, I could manage and cope, and then it would come back in 10 times. And this is the point that I want to make. And I'll say it again, probably going to say it a million times throughout this video. If you don't deal with the root of the issue, it will keep coming back. So let me talk about the actual thing that really freaking helped me. Reprogramming my subconscious mind. Okay, so let me explain that in more detail because you're probably thinking like, what the hell are you on about, Ash? But Right, you know when you go to the doctors and you have an illness and they give you a bit of medication, that medication will help you to manage the illness. But what we actually want to do when it comes to illnesses is actually get to the root, get to prevention instead of actual illness, right? You go to the doctors and you're like, I don't want medication. I actually just want to look after myself. I don't want to just manage my illness. I want to stop the illness. I want to get rid of the illness. This is exactly the same with anxiety and panic. So your subconscious mind there's a pattern in your brain that has learned that the things that you are doing or the way that you are being is causing you to be anxious and panicky because it believes there is danger in those situations. So for me, driving, if I go back to the fact that I was driving to work, I had actually built up a connection that driving was dangerous, that I was going to panic. It wasn't necessarily the car and the driving, it was the fact that I was fear of judgment, fear of being seen. I was scared about having a panic attack in front of people and people seeing my vulnerability. So that's the deep stuff of it, right? But we have these neural pathways in our brain that connects these things to danger. So the longer that you do them, the more that you do them, the more there's the panic and anxiety there. We want to get rid of that. Because if we don't get rid of that root, you'll always have to manage and cope. And you'll always have to just be like, okay, I can get through this. I'll challenge myself. Exposure therapy, right? I didn't even talk today to you about the 10 years of therapy that I did that did nothing, or the CBT therapy that helped me to manage and cope even more. So there is so much that I have done in my journey. The biggest and best thing was actually reprogramming my neural pathways, my subconscious brain, to help me to actually reprogram what I needed it to do. Okay, so that I could actually feel safe. I could actually feel safe driving in my car. I could actually trust myself to look after myself if my physical panic symptoms come on. Because at the moment, you don't trust yourself. You are scared of losing control. You are scared of the worst case scenario happening because your brain believes that is dangerous. But logically, we know there's nothing bad going to happen. But logic doesn't come into it when fear comes into it. So if we can actually reprogram the fear at the top in the subconscious mind, that's where you're actually going to see the biggest difference. So someone actually asked me to do this video. They actually asked me to send through all my tips and my techniques as to how I manage the physical symptoms. So I've given you a list of all the things that I did, but none of it actually got rid of my anxiety and panic. It helped me to manage and it helped me to cope, but none of it actually helped me to live a life that I live now. Okay, the only thing that did was reprogramming my subconscious mind using NLP therapy, neuro-linguistic programming. We're actually creating the neural pathways in our brain that makes us feel safe instead of the danger that you're experiencing right now. And you know what? Like, it will be different for everyone as to why you feel those situations that bring on anxiety, bring on panic are danger in your mind. That will be different for everyone. For me, it was fear of judgment, fear of being seen, fear of being vulnerable, people looking at me like panicking. So I'd fear it more and the panic would get worse and the anxiety would get worse. I also had fear of emotions. So anxiety came on, panic came on, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this. This is scary, like run. Okay, so there's lots of reasons, lots of things, but the biggest point of this video is you can do all of the physical things to manage and cope, but unless you do the root cause of this and actually start to reprogram your subconscious brain, it will keep coming back. So yes, I've given you a list of things that you can go and do to manage your physical symptoms, but again, I will repeat it, unless you actually do the deeper work, it won't matter. And I want to just add on the end of this video, I don't get any UTIs. I rarely get a headache unless work is really busy and I'm stressed, right? And I don't get any of the symptoms that I used to get at all. Okay, that makes it really clear because my body is, like, my hormones are better. I actually have normal periods again. I genuinely have like a 35-day cycle and I've never been happier. Because the point is, I did the deeper work. I worked with an NLP therapist and it changed my life, and I started to change the way I saw the world and my perception of the world and how my neural pathways happen. So I changed that and I was like, this shit is powerful. Like, honestly, it is powerful. I've seen that much of a transformation. I had to get into this line of work. I knew that I always wanted to help people with anxiety and panic because I'd experienced it and I can completely relate, right? And then now I am an NLP master. I'm an NLP master and I have my qualification. And now I help so many people daily to work through their anxiety and panic and reprogram their neural pathways. So if you want to find out more about subconscious reprogramming, just pop me a follow over on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Ashley Anxiety Coach. Just pop me the message anxiety. Let me know if you've watched my YouTube video. Let me know what you thought about it. And if you can relate to any of this, like the video, comment below. I'd love to hear from you because we are all in this together. I know when you explain to someone who hasn't experienced anxiety and panic what you're experiencing, they're like, yeah, I don't get that. Like, just get on with it. Like, you'll be fine. Like, you'll get over this. And it's not the case. Like, no one realizes how fearful and overwhelming this shit can be. But I do. I've been there. I've experienced it. But I also have all of the tools to help you get through it as well. Okay, to reprogram that pathway, to reprogram your mind so that you can actually start enjoying your life again. So you can actually start being present in the moment again. Start enjoying things, start saying yes, not hiding away at home, not staying at home because it feels safe, but wanting to be outside, wanting to go to places, wanting to be with your friends and family, but holding back. So if you want all of that and you want to actually start reprogramming the subconscious, pop me a message over on Instagram. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Let me know what else you would like to hear from me. If you have any questions or you'd like me to share more about subconscious reprogramming, comment below and I'll speak to you all soon.